Sometimes I open my Instagram and I get a DM from someone saying, hi, black cow. I don't really know what to say. They're obsessed with my skin color.
Really?
And I think it's because when a woman is talking about her expectations from a relationship, especially an Indian woman, and she says it so openly that I need a guy to treat me like this. Then they look at, oh, but are you fair?
What do you deserve? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Are you light-skinned? And if you're not, oh, no,
Shut
you're...
up.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the kind of comments that I get. I've also got comments, oh my God, this is the funniest one. There was this one guy who commented on my video saying, oh, she's dark-skinned, she's black, so she's one of the leftovers. So I have no idea how she has the balls to talk about her. They literally called me a leftover. And I was so shocked by it, but it's just a part of social media, right? What can you do?
Please, I don't get the colorism thing because I also got it. Like, for me, I got it from someone who sent me a DM being like, you should use this, and this because I feel like you are probably fair, but you don't know how to take care of your skin. And I was like, it's not even a hate comment. It's like she's trying to help.
I know, that's even worse when they're just trying to help you.
It's worse.
Yeah.
But this is horrible. And it's all internalized colonialism at the end of the day, right? That's what us brown people do. We chase the white skin.
Yeah, exactly.
That is annoying that they say this to you. Does it get to you?
Hello, my friend. You definitely made a few good points and raised some good questions. Why would Indians or South Asians in general use identities like brown, which seem black adjacent, when their skin color can often be the same, if not darker, than many people of African descent? Well, I'd say there's a few reasons, right? Well, to begin, the black identity in America seems quite specific to the African American community. There's this distinct experience and history tied to that identity that doesn't really apply to South Asians. It feels to me as if Indians identifying with black sort of dilutes the actual black experience. I'm sure many people of African American descent would agree. Beyond that, South Asia is actually quite diverse when it comes to phenotype, not just skin tone, but also other physical features. If you go to the South, many people will have skin tones that are quite similar to those of African descent, and occasionally even Afro hair. But these traits are not consistent throughout the huge landmass, which is referred to as the subcontinent for a reason. Now here you'll find people who look East or Southeast Asian, those who seem Middle Eastern, and those who could pass as European. So if you were to apply that identity onto the entire subcontinent based on the appearance of only a few groups, it wouldn't make much sense. Personally, I don't even like to use identities like brown or desi anymore, simply because the diversity, I think, can best be represented through terms that describe geographical positioning. So I prefer to use terms like South Asian to represent those people, or simply use the national identities of each country. Isn't that interesting?
What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now this one right here is going to ruffle some feathers because the tables are turning in America. Indian Americans who for a long time have tried to separate themselves from the black struggles are now realizing that the white power structure doesn't play favorites. They are finding out that proximity to whiteness doesn't equal safety, and now many are reaching out to black Americans asking for protection. They are asking for solidarity and understanding because the same system that once ignored our pain is turning its eyes on them. Guys, I'm just going to roll the clips, then I'll be coming back with more commentaries. Stay tuned, I'll be back.
I just want to say the way that black women, black creators have helped me embrace my skin color is just not talked about enough. I mean, just the impact that black beauty creators have had on brown girls, teaching us how to do makeup for skin tones that's not white, teaching us about hyperpigmentation. I grew up on Jackie Aina, and before I started watching her, before I found her, I tried so hard to find makeup tutorials for someone with my skin tone. I'm a lot lighter now, but when I was younger, I was darker because I don't know, you're always like darker when you're a child, I think, because you're going outside more. I tried so hard to find like Indian skin tone, makeup, videos, tutorials on YouTube, and it was just impossible. There was no brown girl that I could find that was doing makeup tutorials for our skin tone. And if I did find someone doing makeup, it was like an Indian makeup artist doing someone's bridal makeup. They were painting her white. But once I found black creators, brown skin black creators, I learned so much more than just makeup and color theory. I definitely had some of that stuff in the back of my head. I was taking in a little bit of information. But the main thing I learned from watching black creators do their makeup so artfully, having similar skin tone to mine and even darker, is that brown skin is beautiful. Especially because I am an immigrant, and for the first few years of my life I did go to an Indian school in the Middle East. Colorism was such a huge problem. Every single day I was reminded that I am dark and ugly. I mean, it was just such a terrible message to send to young girls. Also, in the Middle East we had access to Indian television, and the commercials that would come on Sony TV was like Fair and Lovely and all that shit. Like, I was exposed to all of that. I just grew up to like know that, okay, brown, dark, like tan skin is just bad, you know, it doesn't look good. People just don't like it. I just wanted to take a moment to like talk about this because it's insane, like the impact that black women have had on me personally, on my self-love journey. And I'm so grateful and so thankful for that. So brown girls, whoever else is watching this, did you guys have any favorite black creators, black beauty creators, beauty gurus back in the day, like on YouTube? Let me know.
And I'm sorry for being so vague in saying the black community. And the reason why is because it's so diverse and I can't pinpoint specific groups. So I'm from Reading. Now, Reading, the first group of immigrants to ever come to Reading were Caribbeans. And one thing that the Caribbeans did from a very young age was they created, along with other African members, they created the Pan-African Society, which was after-school curriculums built for black students because they were getting neglected by the education system. Now, for some reason, I was enrolled into this. And my belief is that they thought I was mixed race. So I was allowed into these classes. There I learned a lot. I was bumped up in the English language, but also they taught me a lot about history. About Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., about Black Panthers, about Assata Shakur. All these amazing things. And that helped me. And that helped me grow. And that helped me learn. And so as I grew up and I grew older, I learned a lot more about the black community, and I learned more about that than my own community. But one thing I noticed, black people really not only just look out for their own, but they make sure to grow and keep going. And that's one thing I fell in love with from a very young age, was Muhammad Ali. Now, when Muhammad Ali passed away, I always thought, what's the equivalent in the UK to our Muhammad Ali? Who is it? And I realized today it's Stormzy. So Stormzy is a rapper from the UK who went viral from this video where he's basically just telling someone shut up. But I noticed one thing: when he became famous, he didn't just like become rich and famous and just brag about it. He built a production company. He built a book publishing thing, which he's helping and pushing for people of color to like get their books published. He also funded so many black students to go to Oxford University. And he's still doing so much more. And also his performance at Glastonbury, where he wore the stab vest and he like called out the government, especially his line where he said, "How'd you like if we burnt your house down?" Referring to the Grenfell fire, where loads of innocent people died because a house got burnt down and the government neglected it. And the reason why I'm making this video is I would like to appreciate and just let the black community know that you guys have done so much for me. Because there's no one from my community. We don't have like a Malcolm X in our community. We don't have anything similar to like Muhammad Ali. Imran Khan is probably the closest, but like, it's because of black people I am where I am. Black women taught me how to look after my hair and like taught me how to maintain my curls. It was black men like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., Muhammad Ali that taught me how to be courageous, how to love. It was Muhammad Ali, a black Muslim reaver, that taught me to fall in love with my religion and my name. So I owe the black community so much. So while I'm here, and I know everyone gives me credit saying, "Oh, you did great," this isn't me. Even the way I speak, everything, it's all from the black community. And my great friend, Jordan, I know what black love is, and God, it's beautiful. So I would like to say thank you to the black community. I would like to say thank you to Stormzy. I would like to say thank you to Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., Assata Shakur. Just the list goes.
Here's how I started getting comfortable with my dark skin. Like every other dark skinned girl, I too used to hate my skin color. I just used to feel very uncomfortable with it until I met Sean. So to those of you who don't know, Sean Romy is this really beautiful model. So when I was about 16 years old, I dropped her a DM and asked if we could collaborate on a shoot. And when I met her for the first time, I was shocked at how someone could look so beautiful. She had this rich, dusky skin tone, and the first thing I told my mom was, did you see her skin color? So beautiful. And my mom's response to that was, what are you talking about? You're literally the same skin color. And holy shit, that actually changed everything. Because up until then, I never saw my skin as pretty. I just had a very negative attitude towards it. But then I saw the way that she carried herself, and it was like a switch in my mind at that point. From then on, I made it a point to stop talking negatively about my skin. If you don't hear a light-skinned person making fun of themselves, you don't need to do the same. Now, this was about 8 years ago. And since then, I started traveling a lot, and every single time I traveled, I swear to you, I would get complimented by strangers on the street for my skin color, something that would have never ever happened in India. I no longer shy away from wearing bright colors. In fact, white is one of my favorite colors to wear. I just think it looks so beautiful on my skin. And the biggest thing that I learned from this is that when you completely accept yourself and you're confident, you can also inspire people to accept themselves. I swear to you, dark skin is so beautiful. It's so sad that we are taught to not embrace it or to shy away from colors, when in reality, it is so beautiful. If you're a dark skinned girl and you struggle with it, so many people would die for your skin color. I was on the other side of hating my skin color, and now it's literally one of the favorite.
So by now we've all seen that video of that South Asian woman screaming the N-word at the top of her lungs. She said the word like 9 times in the matter of 60 seconds. As a South Asian myself, I watched that video and I was disgusted, but I was not surprised. Because if you're South Asian, you know at least one person in your vicinity or like outer circle that happily says the N-word like it's their God-given right. And those are the type of people, if you ever try to confront them, they will do everything but take responsibility. I remember one time at a family function, I was trying to tell somebody that they shouldn't be saying the N-word. They then made up a rumor about me and spread it throughout the whole community. So I'm not gonna lie, ever since then, I've always stayed away from people like that, but I do feel like as the sane ones in our community, we have a responsibility to make these people feel ashamed of their actions, especially because they go out and make us look bad. This is not what our community represents. We are so much better and smarter than this. It's honestly disgusting to see that people in 2025 will continue to say this stuff. So yeah, consider this my official petition to kick these people out of the group. If you know somebody like this, stop calling them, stop inviting them to your parties or whatever the heck. Make them feel ashamed for their...
We still have another clip to watch, but let me make it clear that the Indian Americans who once distanced themselves from the struggles of Black Americans are now realizing the harsh truth. The same system they thought would favor them is turning against them. With rising racial tension and political backlash from the white establishment, many Indian Americans are now reaching out to the very community they once ignored, seeking solidarity, protection, and understanding from Black America. So guys, you know, this powerful shift exposes how fragile the model minority myth really is, and why unity among people of color is becoming more urgent than ever. We are here to break down what is really happening, how we got here, and what this means for America's racial hierarchy going forward. Guys, watch till the end for commentary and the public reactions from both communities. Do you think Indian Americans are being sincere, or is this just self-preservation?
Not just race. People of color can be both oppressed and settlers at the same time, depending on the context.
Wait a minute, what? So basically you're coming for African Americans because you all were promised equal power in your treaty that has not been acknowledged and has not been honored. And that's somehow our fault? This content creator made a video essentially saying that Black people benefit from colonialism. Ain't that some bullshit? Why the fuck people just don't leave us alone? How the fuck we benefit from something where we were brought here against our will? Not only that, we were murdered, we were raped, we were eaten, we were beaten, we were slaughtered, we were fed to alligators. And you're saying that we benefited from colonialism, and we still do, because we have jobs and have homes and have land and we work and we get benefits from the government and pay taxes? So we're the enemy now? It seems like your problem is with the wrong persons. It seems like you don't want to offend your oppressor because somehow, some way, you really still feel like there's an opportunity in y'all having equal rights and equal power over the United States. And I'm here to tell you, boo-boo, that's not going to happen. I promise you that. It seems like y'all, in the time, your ancestors should have fought a little bit harder. Should have fought a little bit harder to keep what was rightfully yours. You want them to restore sovereignty. That doesn't have to be restored if y'all just fought a little harder. Don't you think so? Now you see how crazy that sounds when your ancestors were beaten, raped, murdered, and things were stolen from them? Kind of sounds familiar, doesn't it? We were taken from West Africa and our land was taken over. Have you ever heard of Mansa Musa? He was the richest, wealthiest person in the world that ever existed. Our ancestors were stripped of their wealth. They were stripped of their resources, and we were bought here through our ancestors. And then you go on to say in your video, well, I don't feel like y'all should have to leave the United States. I don't feel like you should have to leave the land. Bitch, we're not. We built this shit. For you to sit up here and say, well, you know, I just had trouble trying to phrase it the right way. Maybe you should redo some research. Maybe you should keep your mouth shut before you get on this platform and say the most ignorant shit that you could ever think of. It is not our fault that y'all were not given equal power as stated in your treaty and you want your sovereignty to be restored. Mind you, you all got reparations. You all get Native American TANF and Native American stamps. And you have had decades upon decades of settlements, decades upon decades of reparations. Your family is set for life. Your kids are set for life. We weren't given anything. And whenever we say anything about it, it's, oh, you're throwing the black card, you're throwing the race card. And for you to say the oppressed are settlers, girl, get the fuck out my face.
So for years, Indian immigrants in the United States were often labeled as the model minority. They were praised for their success stories, their quietness, their hard work, and their education. But that title was always a trap. It was never about respect. It was about division. The model minority myth was created to make Black Americans look lazy and to keep minority groups from forming unity. But as political tides shift and racial tensions rise, the so-called protection that came from being closer to whiteness is disappearing fast. Now, many Indian Americans are facing discrimination, hate crimes, and racial profiling, the same kind that Black Americans have endured for generations. And suddenly, the conversations are changing. Let's not forget that during the civil rights era, it was the courage of Black Americans that opened the doors for all immigrants to come to America. Before 1965, immigration from Asia was severely restricted, but it was Black-led movements fighting against segregation, police brutality, and systemic racism that forced America to rewrite its laws and open those doors. So when some Indian Americans looked down on Black folks or stayed silent in the face of injustice, they were forgetting who paved the way. Now, it's almost like history is repeating itself, and the same community that has been demonized and disrespected is once again being looked to for leadership and protection. So, what's happening right now is a reflection of how the white establishment operates. Once a group is no longer useful, once they start gaining too much power or visibility, the same system that elevated them begins to break them down. We've seen it before with other communities. They are praised when they are quiet and compliant, but the moment they speak up, the backlash is brutal. And now, as the political climate in the United States becomes more nationalistic, anti-immigrant, and racially polarized, Indian Americans are being reminded that no matter their degrees, wealth, or social status to the system, they are still others. Yes, many Black Americans are watching this with mixed feelings. Some say, now you know how it feels. Others say, let's not return the same energy Let's show unity and teach what solidarity really means. But let's be real, unity can't happen until there is honesty. There has to be accountability for the times when Indian Americans joined in anti-black rhetoric or stayed silent during our struggles. Protection is not just physical, it's moral. It's about standing together before things get bad, not only when it's convenient. Yes, and at the end of the day, this moment could be a turning point if people were willing to learn from it. The truth is, the same system that oppresses black people will eventually come for everyone else. So, instead of begging for protection, maybe it's time to build genuine alliances and face the reality that our struggles are deeply connected. Because when black Americans rise, the door opens for everyone else. And when the world turns its back on us, eventually it turns on others too. So guys, what do you think, family? Are Indian Americans being sincere in their calls for solidarity? Or is this just survival mode that the system is shifting? Drop your thoughts, guys, in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more breakdowns like this one. Of course, all credit belongs to the original creators of the video. This video is meant for educational purposes and commentary purposes. Be blessed and have a nice time.